I pull out my other computer. Good evening. In this video, we're continuing on this series. What I would do if I was turning a passion project into a full-fledged business. Okay, this one's really simple, okay? Doing a little late night editing. Not too late, it's only 8:30. How to start a business, like legalities, DBAs, and things like that. Go to LegalZoom, and our recommendation, or my recommendation, is to just do sole proprietor first until you start making real money. Real money means like netting 50 grand, I would say. Netting 50 grand, then you can probably take your business into the LLC territory or into the S Corp territory and things like that, where you can write up more things. There's different things, and LegalZoom is really, I think, good about defining all of the, and you could just pay them $150 to get everything kind of filed away, squared away. Where to file your DBA. If you're in, I believe you're in LA, so you would have to just file your business name, or doing business as, or if it's called a fictitious business name. Is it fictitious business name? Something like that, FBN. That's what they call it in Orange County. So if you're in Orange County, it's called an FBN. Same thing as a DBA. If you're in LA, I don't know what they call it there, but you'd have to file then with the county. And then that's going to be a fee, and then you have to publish within some kind of local newspaper or whatever. It's weird. I think it's just a way to kind of nickel and dime you when you're a new business, and then collect all your information and try to sell you a bunch of scamming material. If you're dealing with equipment, like your own equipment that you bring on, like a photographer, you have to get photography insurance. So I believe you said you do some photography as well, so you need photography insurance. I think the standard now is like $1 to $2 million is the standard coverage. I use hiscox.com, HISCOX.com, I think, Hiscox. Or if anything, you can just look up photographer insurance, and I just get the general liability insurance, and that covers the company up to $1 million. And so I haven't had any problem with that. Usually venues or events where you're taking photos, they will ask for that, and so I just give them the coverage, and I pay a monthly thing of like $30 a month. And then what other things are, in terms of filing, it really just depends on how you want to handle your money and what you're gonna do with it. So for example, it's really hard to buy a house. I think you guys already have a house, but it's really hard to buy a house when you're self-employed, because you're trying to, for one thing, you're probably making a lot of mistakes. Not a lot, but maybe more than the casual 9-to-5er. And because you're a 9-to-5er and you're gonna now be doing this side business, that's just something that you have to research. It's kind of like what we're doing is like, we basically have side businesses. You know, we have one true money maker on this side of the fence, and everything else is sort of a side business. So it's basically the same thing. And in terms of how much you want to show the government you make, that just has to make sense with everything that's in your bank. Talk to your accountant on how you can write things off, what are the little dumb loopholes that there are and stuff like that. That's all up to you. But you just want to make sure that you're doing things that are not attracting eyeballs on you. You're not doing things recklessly. You know, just be smart about stuff. I believe that you're already going to make really good decisions there. So that's it for this video. That's how you would, you know, in terms of filing and officially putting your name in the books. You know, if you can, you know, still document everything. If you're a sole proprietor, still document everything. Try to keep everything as separate as possible in terms of, you know, business expenses. Even when you're not making too much money yet, still try to document everything. Like, hey, this was for contract work, this was for this and that, you know, and at least have maybe 2 accounts, you know, or one for business stuff and then one is like for personal stuff. And if it's just your side thing, you're probably gonna open up a separate account dedicated to that. You're gonna have your personal, that's your 9-to-5 job anyway, but for your friend who's gonna be full-time, it's gonna be probably a little bit harder for him to separate things. So you have to be really diligent being a sole proprietor, keeping things separate and just creating a system that would work. And that's something that you would keep up with and maintain. I think that's really important. Okay, so that's it for this one. LegalZoom.com. Start as a sole proprietor, even though you're a side or you're full-time, until you start netting 50 grand. At least if you're in California, that's what has been recommended to me. Then you can take it into the LLC territory, because and the reason why is because of fees, and you don't need to be paying a lot of fees when you're not making money yet. Okay, so LLC or S Corp, but until then, you're probably still gonna be figuring things out. A lot of things are kind of in the first year to 2 to 3 is gonna be very tumultuous. So allow things to just kind of happen, be flexible, learn as much as you can, absorb all this stuff which you already are doing, which is great. Ask a lot of questions and ask people who are qualified. Like me, I'm like, okay, yeah, go to LegalZoom and everything. If you have specific ones, I mean, you could ask me, but I probably won't be able to tell you that much because I'm not very well versed on tax law and everything like that. I basically follow what my husband does, basically, right? So we file together. So fortunately for me, I'm lazy about it, and I just kind of go with what he tells me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. You know, tell me what's the best way to handle this side of the fence. You know. Okay, so good luck with that, and I'll see you in the next video.